So, excuse me. So, um, most of you know, I got double vaxxed. And I went out to Winnipeg to see my kids. And I got out there. It turns out that they were double vaxxed and they were sick. And I drove halfway across the country to see my kids. So I'm going to see my kids. And, you do what you can. But at the end of the day, if you're going to get it, you're going to get it. The vaccine doesn't stop you from getting it. It just, does what it does. But, anyways, and um, I got sick, and it was kind of interesting. Some of the responses that I was getting, people saying, "Aren't you afraid of getting the virus? Aren't you afraid of this? Aren't you afraid of that?" And it's like, well, no, I'm not. And I got it anyway. And I got to thinking how the scripture says, "Be strong and courageous." And a lot of times when we say that God says to be strong and courageous, we think, well, that means if we're strong and courageous, we're not going to get hurt. We're step out in faith and nothing's going to harm us. Nothing's going to hurt us. That ain't true. Just because God says to walk out and be strong and courageous doesn't mean we're not walking into a war zone. Doesn't mean we're not walking into trials. Doesn't mean we're not walking into tribulation. The scripture says don't be surprised if the tribulations that come, something strange is happening to you. Because the reality is, even though we have God as our protector, even though we have God as our refuge, even though we have God as our strength, we live in a world that things hurt. We live in a world where we are constantly being affected and impacted by the consequences of our sin. Not just our sin, but we're impacted by the consequences of other people's sin. People who have power, people who have authority in our lives that can hurt us. And I'm not just talking government and those big powers. I mean, people that we care about, people that we are vulnerable to, we give them power in our lives to hurt us. And a lot of times we think, well, if I'm going to get hurt, I need to protect myself so I don't get hurt. Well, the scripture never says to protect ourselves so we don't get hurt. God, he just says that he will heal all our wounds. He says, no weapon formed against us will prosper. All those that rise up against us will fall. I will not fear what the devil sends me. See, the scriptures, it doesn't say that it can't hurt us. It means it can't conquer us. It doesn't mean it's not going to knock us off our horse. It means it can't keep us down. And there's a huge difference. And we get so afraid of being hurt. We get so afraid of being rejected. We get so afraid of things not going our way, of our plans not coming to fruition, that we just decide that maybe it's just easier if we don't do anything. I was blessed to spend time with my kids. And I got COVID over it. And I'll heal. On Sunday, I'll be preaching from my living room to keep safe and, obey the protocols. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be okay. But there's some things of value, like obedience to God, that it's worth the risk. It's worth saying that, you know what, I know this could happen, but I'm going to follow what God is leading me to do. I am going to pursue the things that I know have value and have purpose. And I'll let God work everything else out. As long as I'm doing what I believe God has called me to do. So, be strong and courageous. Don't fear, but walk out knowing that we have an armor. We have the full armor of God that will protect us. We will get knocked down. But God gives us the strength every time to get back up. God bless you. Bye for now.